Tiger fans, it was ugly in Oxford, but let's break it down. What's going on, LSU fans? Final score 24-19. The Ole Miss Rebels over the LSU Tigers. That was a tough one to watch. Certainly because you felt like you left a lot on the field. Particularly on offense. There's just a lot to be desired. It certainly seems like Garrett Nussmeier is still hurt. There's no excuse for that, but certainly it is affecting the way that this offense is run. But give credit to Ole Miss. They dominated this football game. Don't let 24-19 fool you, because it was they controlled the line of scrimmage. They controlled the time of possession. They had so many more plays. I mean, they had 50 plays at halftime. I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was so frustrating. It was almost like when they scored, it was like you were thankful that they scored, because they'd had the ball so much and so long. And it was just, God, it was really tough to watch, because you saw so many opportunities to take advantage. Championship teams definitely take advantage when they're not playing their best ball, maybe when they're down a couple players like LSU's been down, and they just didn't take the opportunity. In the first quarter, you kind of got the feeling that things were moving in LSU's direction. PJ Woodland was, playing great man-to-man defense, had a really nice pass breakup. You move over to offense. Carius Kern gets the start. The word is that Weston Davis was out with an injury from pregame warmups. 57 had been looking to be playing or certainly start getting some more action. So, we'll see what happens moving forward. He gave up a pretty timely sack. But, for the most part, as a true freshman in a hostile environment, playing against a top 15 team, he gets his his flowers. So, as we move through the first quarter, you saw guys making plays. You saw Xavier Thomas. He was a favorite of Nussmeier. You saw him moving in, motioning into the backfield, getting some misdirection handoffs. Certainly that create. Well, you had some screens to Aaron Anderson and Berrien Brown and Xavier Thomas again, and so the Tigers looked fantastic moving the ball down the field. Then they had one of those just fluke tip drill plays, volleyball kind of plays. Nuss throws it in the corner. Tradez Green knocks it. Nick Anderson, great awareness, catches it. Big time. You're starting to feel good about things. Shout out to CJ Jim Coyley, played big time on special teams today. You can just tell he looks the part. He's going to be big time for the Tigers. Harold Perkins, at least in the beginning, it looked like he was everywhere, tracking down Chambliss. And, it just kind of looked like things were going in that direction for the Tigers. It may not have been very high scoring, but certainly they were looking good. But you could tell it was starting to get a little the defense was starting to get a little drained when Ole Miss ran that 18-20 play drive, took a ton of time off the clock. Tigers, had hands on their pads. That was really, really, really indicative of where the game was going. And so, but you had to love that the Tigers had no penalties in the first quarter, and you couldn't say the same about Ole Miss. But, we move into the second quarter, and Nussmeier throws that very, very bad interception over the middle. And then LSU just starts to make a bunch of mistakes. Walter Mathis with the face mask. Like I was saying, just the play differentiation was just huge. I mean, just in the second quarter, 27 to Ole Miss, 13 to LSU. DJ Pickett gets a huge pick six. They call it back for pass interference. AJ Halsey makes a beautiful, beautiful play to keep LSU in the game. Ole Miss was really looking to, put the pedal to the metal, but that was a championship play. almost reminded you a lot of the Saints and how they were opportunistic in their 09 season with turnovers. But Aaron Anderson gets hurt. And so now you've got Weston Davis hurt, Aaron Anderson hurt, Caden Durham's out for the game. Ole Miss really just starts to slice you up a little bit. That down the middle, that Wes Weeks roughing the passer call was huge. It was 7-3 at that point. Before you know it, it's 17-7 at half. Ole Miss, and from there, it just never seemed like the Tigers could get it. Could get back on track. You open the third quarter with a sack on Nussmeier. Shout out to Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, he looked amazing today. I mean, quite a dual threat, hell of an arm. But the Tigers, I think they overplayed their hand. I think they were a little too aggressive at times, and they were a little too conservative at times. And, that's just playing defensive coordinator. I wouldn't want anyone but Blake Baker. But, Lane Kiffin, he definitely had the edge today. And, the Tigers, when they were on offense, they struggled protecting Nussmeier, even when Ole Miss would drop 8 in the back and just only rush 3. They really couldn't protect it all. Nussmeier was able to find some guys over the middle, Barry and Brown in particular. And, but we move into the fourth quarter, and Ole Miss is just making play after play. And that's what it takes to win in this league, is to make play after play. The one-handed grab, Ole Miss goes up 24-13. O-line continues to struggle. But then you see Nick Anderson making some plays. It's good to see Juwan Johnson. He stepped in nice for Caden Durham. Caden Durham was very missed today. And then Harlan Berry made some spectacular runs. He needs to see the ball moving forward, even if Caden Durham's healthy. He's just electric. The Tiger offense needs whatever they can to get it rolling, because something's not working here. Too many talented offensive linemen, 4 and 5 stars, a hell of an offensive line coach. Harlan Berry, scores that touchdown, and so 24-19. But then Ole Miss, they run out the clock and the Tigers can't stop it. And, here we are, and 24-19. The Tigers lose a heartbreaker. Look, I'm going to bring in Whit Huguley for a little more coverage here. Love it. Let's get him on here. Hey, Whit, what's going on?
All right. Nice to see you, Teddy.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, that was a tough game to watch. I guess before we dive into the analysis, what I will say is that I've been an LSU fan my entire life. My entire family went to LSU. I went to LSU for 4 years.
Yeah.
Met anyone and everyone that knows anything about LSU, and I still think you're the person that knows the most about LSU.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that.
On top of that, you're the most optimistic LSU fan I've ever met, which is hard to.
Yeah, I know. That's tough. That it leaves you in a lot of heartbreak, like we kind of are right now, certainly.
Yeah, I did what any good LSU fan should do, and I've been scrolling through Tiger droppings, and there's just some absolute gems on there right now.
I haven't gotten there yet, honestly. I've already gotten it in the ass enough tonight. Certainly, yeah. I'll get on there a little bit later. I was just saying that basically it just feels like Ole Miss dominated that game. It's amazing that it was even 24-19.
Yeah, it's from what I was watching, it's Lane Kiffin pretty quickly picked up that we weren't an offensive threat.
No.
So then all of a sudden Lane Kiffin could start being Lane Kiffin.
Right.
And start experimenting and doing creative plays. And he's just the last person you want to think that we don't pose offensive threat. It's like if you're boxing against someone and you realize they don't have knockout power, all the bets are off. And Lane Kiffin's the last person on earth you want to just be able to do anything and everything he wants on offense. So they moved
the ball basically at will. After the first quarter, it looked like LSU's defense was starting to dominate as they have been, but they just started to wear down. I mean, 50 play. I mean, they were on the field for 50 plays in the first half. You can't. That's not winning football.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've already discussed this, but going into the season, what I heard from most LSU fans was that Nussmeier was going to be like a Brett Favre, where you get 350 yards with 3 interceptions, or he'd have some bad games, but he always put up a lot of passing yards. He had under 200 yards. I'm not sure if it's an offensive lineman problem or what the problem is there, but something needs to be fixed because you're not going to win any road SEC game with 200 yards, less than 200 yards passing.
I mean, is he still hurt? I mean, it's just I hate using that excuse because it just came out of nowhere a couple weeks ago. I mean, he supposedly got hurt in fall camp, and we hear about it 2 weeks ago, and it's like you would have thought we would have heard about it before now, and now it just feels like it's being used as an excuse.
Yeah, I saw him being projected from a lot of people as the number one overall drafted quarterback.
Crazy.
And he didn't look good today, and he just didn't pose a threat at all. It's really hard to reel from that.
No, I mean, just looking at it, I mean, Ole Miss dominated. I mean, 28-16 first downs, 480 yards to 254 yards, 166 rushing yards to 57. Time of possession, actually crazy, is pretty even considering how unbalanced the amount of plays were. But something's going on there, and it's very frustrating to watch because I think LSU fans would taper their expectations if they knew what was really going on, because I think they're trying to paint this picture that everything's rosy and everything's great, but it's not.
Yeah.
And that's even more frustrating.
Yeah, I think the other frustration coming out from a lot of LSU fans is it always feels like we're only good on one side of the ball. It's we have a good defense, and I mean you could definitely poke holes in how our defense played today, but I think it was largely they just got tired. And
They got tired.
I mean, and they saved us by they were about to score again, and we got that fumble at the goal line. And then of course, right when we finally get a great defense together, our offense is terrible. It just seems like ever since basically since Nick Saban's left, that's been the struggle. We've had one side of the ball is good, one side's bad. The few times we have put it together, we've won a national championship. So it's like it's
amazing.
It's frustrating, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you could just imagine right now on Eagle 98.1, it's going to be pretty ugly, and it's going to be probably directed a lot towards Brian Kelly. And look, he knew what he signed up for, but look, if you're going down and you're going down fighting, we can understand it. But that was a lackluster effort, and to seem basically a little unprepared. That Tiger fans, they're passionate. We know that, but they're very, very smart too. They're very smart football fans.
They are.
They know what they're seeing, and what they're seeing is not good. It's just whether you. It's just you don't feel it. Whatever you're seeing, you don't feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a little look into what Tiger fans are already saying by reading some Tiger stuff. One says Brian Kelly is the worst thing to happen in LSU history.
Okay, all right.
Hyperbolic. The other great one I read was is his name Lindsey Scott, the third.
Yeah, his 7th year.
Yeah, and then I think the other obvious missing piece, if Girth Brooks 62 is listening, we need you back on Tiger Droppings, and we need you to come on Teddy's show.
Girth Brooks is a legend. I don't know if many people know about him, but certainly go do your research because you'll have a hell of a Saturday night doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, just the name Girth Brooks, 62. We don't even know what 62 is, but we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's like we're 61 other Girth Brookses.
Yeah, no, I know. I had to go with that.
Yeah.
The only one available.
Yeah, I mean, I guess using your optimistic view, it's always have had. I, things have changed now that it's a 12-team playoff.
Yes.
Lose by
Yes.
5 on the road. It's not the end of the world. We'll probably we might still remain within the top 12. I'm not sure. We might be just outside of it. But there's a lot of things we need to clean up before we're not going to. We'll lose a few more games if we play like.
Yeah, I know. I think that's the thing, and I think you probably would agree, is that it's not that it's this one game. It's that we've basically seen a little bit of all of this in the first 5. And so
Yeah,
it's like here we are almost halfway into the season. You're kind of getting who you are at this point. And, you want to say, all right, we got the bye week, let's clean it up. The Tigers can clean it up. Maybe Nuss can get a little healthier. But, I just don't know where you go from here in the sense that, Joe Sloan, I know people are calling him out. And I think it's warranted. He Mike Denbrock was the offensive coordinator in 22 and 23, and look, granted, he had fucking Jaden Daniels and Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. It was probably pretty easy to call plays there, but he's done pretty well at Notre Dame, and so kind of makes you think about, where do you stand with a guy like Joe Sloan too?
Yeah, and I think the depressing part about this is going to be when we see a few of these players on offense go into the NFL in a few years and realize we had some top round draft picks on this team that just weren't being utilized. I'm not pronouncing his name right, but Tredez Green.
Yeah.
I did. He's going to be incredible in the NFL, and we're just not utilizing him at all. So it's like, it seems like the tools are there. It's like Brian Kelly's one step behind the times. I'm not sure what's happening, but
no, I know. But besides that corner route that they threw to him, that he does the tip drill and Nick Anderson catches it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tredez was targeted the rest of the game.
I know, it's crazy.
How is that possible?
Yeah, he's going to be, or if he's put in the right situation, he could be a first round pick easy.
No, absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, especially when you get around the goal line, just literally lob it up to him.
Absolutely.
I think that's going to be the most frustrating thing looking back on this team, is to see how much potential we had that's just not getting utilized.
Well, I think that's going to be the big thing moving forward, particularly if LSU loses another game or two, or God forbid 3. They went all in this year with the transfer portal and the NIL $20 million with the roster and everything. And so Tiger fans are going to say, look, if Brian Kelly can't do it with this roster, a 5th-year senior quarterback like Nuss, a coordinator like Blake Baker, then when is he going to do it?
The other thing I can't figure out about Brian Kelly is like when he decides to step on the gas and when he decides to play conservative.
I was thinking about you when, go on.
Like, it's totally unpredictable. Like, against Clemson, we go for it instead of kicking a field goal.
Yeah.
Go into the halftime, which probably wasn't the greatest decision. And then all of a sudden now, today, he's getting conservative. And then, a few years ago, he goes for 2 against Alabama at home. It's like,
I know.
I'm not to Les Miles because I think he's a little sharper than that, but he's as unpredictable as Les Miles.
I think that's a great comparison in the sense that he's just got all of this talent and he's misusing it. And how he's misusing it, I don't know. We're not paid $10 million a year to do that, but certainly something's not right there. And so it's just kind of one of those things where they're going to have this week off to kind of rest and hopefully figure some things out. But, the schedule continues to move forward. South Carolina, Vanderbilt, A&M, and then Alabama, and then Oklahoma. And so LSU has every opportunity to continue to, make something out of this season. Like you said, 12-team playoff. You could even maybe lose one more and still get in.
Yeah.
But they can't lose confidence
Yeah.
because you just kind of get that feeling that you don't want that. Oh, here we go again, kind of thing.
Yeah. What do you think happens to Brian Kelly if we lose to Vanderbilt at home?
I don't know if he's going to be allowed to go home. I mean, it's like in Friday Night Lights when they put the for sale signs on the coach's lawn. I mean, it's going to be something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I just think it's one of those things where it's like he has no one to blame but himself at this point. It's year 4. He said, see you at the national championship. We're taking receipts, and so he has no problem speaking his mind, and so he set himself up for this, and it's going to be up for him to kind of figure out what's going on. I mean, that's why we pay him the big bucks.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I just keep thinking about. It's like when you look back on the teams he's had, I mean, now that you see what Jaden Daniels is and what Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors are, I mean, you had to do better than we did with those guys on your team. I mean,
That 2023 team had 3 losses.
yeah, that's inexcusable. And so, yeah, I think it falls on his shoulders. So hopefully he finds a way to pivot because I think Vanderbilt could come into Tiger Stadium favored. It's certainly possible.
Absolutely. I mean, but like that's what's sad. And I know that there's more parity in college football these days, but no one's scared of playing LSU anymore. Like no one's scared of playing Georgia or Bama but everyone's really not scared of playing LSU anymore. As you knew, us growing up, particularly when you were at LSU, I mean, there was a swag, there was like a fear factor, and that's just gone. And so it's like kind of one of those things where you watch like the guys, talking trash and shit, and it's just like, just stop, like
Yeah.
you're not Patrick Peterson, you're not Tyrann Mathieu, you're not Jamal Adams, so like once you start putting some more skins on the wall, then yeah, absolutely. But you beat, a 1-3 Clemson team by 7, you beat not a great Florida team, and so but the huge point that you made, and I'm going to lose sleep over it tonight, is that he doesn't know when to put the foot on the gas. Like LSU had the opportunity in the early second quarter to really start taking it to Ole Miss, and they got conservative, and Ole Miss took advantage of that.
Yeah, especially on the road, you got to know you got to put your foot on the gas when the momentum's on your side. And I mean, the other thing that's frustrating is if Nussmeier goes out there and has 250 yards, 300 yards, all of a sudden, Perkins and Whit Weeks can pin their ears back, start rushing the quarterback. I mean, the defense is.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to probably complain about the defense, but it's like
nothing they can do
off the offense, and
they were on the field way too long.
Yeah, anyone's going to get tired after that.
Way too long. I mean, it's just shitty. Obviously was hoping to have you on for a victory tonight, but look, we kicked the tires a little bit. Final score: Ole Miss 24, LSU 19. LSU on a bye week next week, and then I believe it's South Carolina. I'm not even 100% sure because we're all just miserable right now. But we'll just move forward. We'll catch up on some of these injuries. We missed on Caden Durham was missed today. Not that he would have had a lot of blocking in front of him, but he was missed today. Certainly, you could tell. So final thoughts. Moving forward after this, and just kind of what to expect.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't think it's everyone be too discouraged yet. I think maybe a few adjustments here and there, things change. But one more game like this, then you're in absolute panic mode, and Brian Kelly's all of a sudden on the hot seat, and but hopefully we don't get there. And
no,
we're talking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I said hopefully we're talking 2 weeks from now, and we said thank God for the loss at Ole Miss. We learned our lesson and adjust. We'll see. I got crossed.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing, is that you could take this, one of two ways, and hopefully they take it in the positive direction, and it could be a blessing. It could be a wake up call. Everybody was saying how great they were, number 4 in the country, that kind of thing. But um, it's the wild wild west out there, and we'll watch Georgia and Bama tonight, and so at least the SEC, it seems like it's pretty even this year. So
Yeah, and I think anyone who closely followed LSU, like as close as you do, probably had a little doubt that they were the fourth best team in the country, especially after we saw what happened to Clemson after we beat them. But hopefully
yeah,
we can, hopefully we could sneak in that top 12, and anything can happen from there.
absolutely. Look, just a quick shout out. We're gonna have a new sponsor coming on to Louisiana Boot Crew Media and Boot Crew Media, Revel Asphalt Services. But under the direction of Millard Morrison, will be coming on, and so we're going to be excited to have him. He's a big Ole Miss fan. We couldn't have him on the show tonight for obvious reasons. He's probably having a nice bottle of bourbon right now, so we'll let him have this one, but we'll get him back next year. But we're excited to have Millard on board with Boot Crew Media. Whit, thanks for coming on. I hope we can continue to do this moving forward.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it 2 weeks from now.
All right, beautiful. All right, everybody, stick in with Boot Crew Media throughout the week. We'll catch you up throughout the bye week, and we'll get ready for South Carolina. All right, Whit, thanks. Go Tigers.
Tigers.